connected. That's for good or for bad. Sometimes we worry about this, surveillance. Yes, we scan, right? We can do all of that stuff, right? We can save everything. We can monitor everybody. That's kind of a drawback of this world of being connected, right? But at the same time, being connected has vast potential at solving global problems. Food, information, education, online education, environmental control. Right? A combination of things, connecting environmental controls with renewable energy can solve global warming. Right? That's possible, together with an attitude, of course, of conservation. Right? But if we're looking at this future, then we're looking at stuff like connected traffic lights. Very simple, saves 15% of gas. Los Angeles, ever since I rolled this out, all the drivers are saving 10 to 12% of gas in average because of connected traffic light. The connected home, you can run your air condition while you're in the car, right? You don't have to keep it on cold the entire day. Just on the way home, you switch it on through your app. Could somebody hack this? Yes, of course, and lots of people will try to do that, right? So we need security there, that's mandatory. Yeah? But this connectivity is mind-boggling. So very simple, looking at a world like this, software, apps, big data, artificial intelligence, it's all interconnected. We can't keep them separate. About big data, that this is the sort of biggest keyword, this year and last year is big data. The year before that, you guess what it was? Social media, whatever that is, right? Now big data is the big deal. But most people, they only use about 0.5% of all the data, of all the big, huge, giant data they have, right? Because they don't know what to do with it. There's no intelligence. And you can do stuff like you can look at your data and you say, I have proof that the more people that use Internet Explorer, the less crime we have. Right? This is the kind of things that people come up with. That's big data, right? That's big stupidity. Right? But you combine all these things, you have this kind of interdependence. Right? In other words, it's not enough to be good at programming, engineering, or software. Right? There's a social part here, there's a human part, there's understanding interfaces, design. Right? All these things are coming together. So what that means for you guys is the end of silos. The tech guys over here, marketing guys over here, financial people over there, the sales people, some here, over there. Right? It's all the same thing now. The best products are those that have intelligence built into the product. That's why the Nike running shoe is so great. Right? Connects to your iPad, connects to the internet, you can compare running data. If you're into that sort of thing, it's cool. Right? So now we have things like through smart devices, we can connect to a whole different world. One example would be iBeacon, which is an amazing technology where you go into a store, you can discover things that you've always wanted to look at, but it's interactively connected.
Recently announced iOS 7 with iBeacons. Put anywhere in the physical world, they broadcast context and location to all compatible phones and smart devices in range. Phones can now automatically pick up the signal and trigger contextual actions designed by business owners. Customers can enjoy a seamless experience with more information.
Yeah, you may think this is sort of a marketing gimmick, right? Well, in a way it is, of course, right? Because we want to sell stuff, right? But what it does, it connects your most intimate device, your mobile phone, with things on location. There's huge potential for retailers and for connecting the online and the offline worlds, whatever they will be in the future. One of the results of this is that we are not going to live in a world where we are protected under a dome. Right? I worked in the music business for a long time. I used to be a musician, producer. Then I had the misfortune to work in the music business and try to help them to understand the internet, which is a lost mission, of course, as you know. So they sort of perceive their world to be an isolated place. Right? Only 4 companies in the world control the music business. Whatever they say is what goes, and nobody cares what the consumer actually wants. Right? You get the right lobbies to figure out your rights and your legal situation. But the future really is about this. Right? It's about being interconnected. You cannot be successful without building an ecosystem. You cannot own the world, right? You can be a big fish in a big pond, but you can't be the only fish. Right? This is interconnected, an ecosystem, right? A shift towards this. Best example is one of my favorite companies in the world, the Tesla car company. You know what they do is they're building an ecosystem of electric cars. They published all of their patents. Any company, any competitor can use all of the patents that Tesla has cooked up for the last 10 years for free. Tell that to the pharma companies, right? The big medical companies. So interdependent ecosystem, that's really what we're looking at. And this is painful, right? Because you can't own every piece of this giant wheel. You have to actually collaborate. So in this world, you've seen all these things in the past. I mean, this is more than any sane brain can take. Even a 15-year-old would say this is madness, right? All the things, I mean, all these memes and tags and keywords, right? You feel like you're in a science fiction novel, right? Maker economy, autonomous vehicles, and so on. Every day there's something new. So in this exponential future, we got to think about what we're doing. And what's happening here in Australia is that we already have 140,000 people employed in the app economy, right? Which is a software economy, really. But the future for this holds, this could very easily be 1 million people when we talk about the Internet of Things. Of course, we also have the opposite effect of machines and robots taking people's jobs, like a cab driver or an accountant, a bookkeeper. Right? Don't tell your kids to become bookkeepers. Bad idea. Right? So here we have an economy to where there's, sort of in a joke, you could say, keep calm, there's an app for that, right? But of course, the reality is there's not. There's not an app for everything. Right? Some things will require a bit more human engineering than an app. But maybe your iPad or your mobile phone looks like this, right? That's what mine looks like, kind of. So I want to show you my favorite apps because I figured you would appreciate. The first one is an app where you can part the Red Sea. This is an app for Moses. Yeah, it's a little bit late for him, but this is a very powerful app. The other one I like a lot is the Aussie insult generator. I think it was popular here last year where you can generate an insult on the fly and just use that for a party. And this one is kind of late for myself. I got divorced 8 years ago, but it's a divorce app. Right? All these things are happening. I mean, it's mind-boggling. There's an app that twitters that your baby has a wet diaper, right? Called TweetPee. Right? And this is serious. I'm not joking. This is actually happening. Right? But this kind of shows you, going back to Moses here, whatever can be digitized will be. You may not appreciate this if you're in the music business or the publishing business or the banking business. Think about digital money. 54% of transactions in Africa are done through mobile devices, not through banks. And who owns those companies? The telco providers, the startups, the internet companies. Some of you may be in the banking business. Of course, you're lucky here because you don't really have that competition here, right? But as Bill Gates says, people need banking, but do they need banks? Interesting question. Media, right? You can see here, advertising, newspapers, radio. I mean, if you're in the radio business or the newspaper business, that's not a good idea right now to think about what kind of advertising you're going to get in the future. The total media ad spend is moving towards mobile and digital. Australia is actually a leader in mobile advertising.